Welcome back to the channel. My name is Douglas, and in today's video, it's all about the Nord Stage 4. So it's an exciting day. Not only did we get some new string samples from Spitfire, but we also got a new operating system update 1.30 for the Nord Stage 4. So in this video, first off, I'm going to show you how to update the Nord Stage 4 to version 1.30, and then we're going to go through all of the updates for this operating system. So if you want to hang out for those, I'm going to walk through each one. I'm going to pull it up and we're just going to talk through them. But if you prefer to read, I'll also throw a link in the description below so you can go read those operating system updates there as well. So that's what we're going to be going over in this video. Be on the lookout because I'm going to do another video of bringing the new string samples into the Nord Stage 4 and then playing you some of them, including a new feature. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But I'll also have another video of just playing the samples, no talking. So be on the lookout for those. I'll link them in the description below once they're released. But let's jump right into this and talk about updating the operating system. I've done this before. I've got other videos from previous operating system updates, but just for the sake of this video, we're going to do this really quickly. Go ahead and we're going to turn off the Nord Stage 4. Probably don't have to, but I do that just as kind of a safety thing. I'm going to plug the USB into the back of the Nord and the other end into my computer here. I'm going to plug that in here. And then we can go ahead and turn the Nord back on and let that turn on while we go grab the operating system from Nord's website. So go ahead and open up your browser and we're going to go to nordkeyboards.com. And you'll see right off here in the latest news, we've got a couple of great things here. Not only do we have the new Nord Spitfire library for the string quintet, but we also have the operating system update for the Nord Stage 4. We're going to grab this one right here. You could also find it up here in the downloads and then click on Nord Stage 4. And you'll see in the OS update section, we've got the Windows and the Mac versions here. So let's go ahead and download this. I'm just going to tap on this Update Nord Stage 4 OS version 1.30. You may have noticed Nord updated their website fairly recently, so take a little bit to getting used to that, but go ahead and click on that. In the meantime, if you're curious on reading through what's included in the updates, just hit this little plus here, at least until they change the website again. And you'll see here, latest version when it was released, which is today. And then the instructions, I'm going to just walk you through it all in this video, but you can read those there. And then the update history, we can click on that. And we're going to cover this after we update the Nord. So hang out for that. It's going to be a little bit tedious because there's a lot to go over here, but I'm excited to walk through those with you guys. So now that we've downloaded this, we're going to jump over to that folder. And here we're going to right click on this zip file and click Extract All. We're going to let it go to the directory that's listed here, and we'll leave this checkbox checked to show the files when they're complete. If you're on a Mac, your process is probably going to be a little bit differently, but just extract that zip file and you'll have one exe file here. Again, remember that we have the Nord plugged into the computer, it's turned on, and everything's good to go from that line. So let's just double click on this exe file, and it's going to open up the updater, and it's going to show us our current OS is version 1.24. We're going to be updating it to 1.30. We're going to go ahead and click on the update button. It's important at this point to just leave your Nord Stage 4. Don't turn it off. Don't unplug it. It's going to say ready for update here on the screen. It's going to go through that entire process of updating the keyboard, and then the screen will go back to just your normal screen when you're done. So I noticed when I first clicked on the update button, it sat for about 5 minutes and didn't do anything. So I closed out of the updater. It said updates in progress. Are you sure? I said yes. Kind of do that at your own risk. I wasn't sure what was going to happen there, but I reopened it, clicked update, and it went normally. So it only took about half a minute to do the update on the Nord. So if yours gets stuck like that, it seems like it works to just close it and then try it again. Your Nord, in my case, it stayed on the ready for update screen even after I closed the updater. So you can see on the screen that the update completed successfully. We can click on done here. And coming back over to the keyboard, we can go Shift and then System. We can go over to page 6 and see that we're on OS version 1.30. And if you're familiar with the Nord Stage 4, you'll notice that we've got 2 extra pages here in the system menu. So that being said, there's a lot of little changes here. I'm going to pull up the update history and we're going to walk through each of these. I'm going to talk through them. And again, if you prefer to read that, check out the link below. You can go read everything that kind of comes with this version 1.30. And so jumping over here, they've broken out this update into a few different sections. So in general, the program format version has been updated, general optimization and performance improvements, and then they've included an 8-line program view showing all programs within a page. So back over here, I'm assuming we can get to that by tapping on this program view button. And there it is. So here you can see these are the 8 programs that are currently called up in this page. If we move to the next page, you'll see that for Bank D, page 1, we've got the first 8 programs, page 2, the next, and these are the ones that correspond. And as I move through these buttons here under the screen, these 8 program buttons, it jumps around in that view. We could also scroll through just like you can scroll through programs. So really nice. I kind of like that. It shows this nice little list. And I'm a fan of lists, so nice little improvement there. Within the synth and sample section, they've upped the polyphony from 48 to 56 voices. They've added special release behavior for string samples supporting this feature. And the new Spitfire samples that they came out with, I believe, are the first string samples that take advantage of this new release. So check out the next video where I talk about those string samples, and hopefully we can demo that functionality there. They've also fixed an issue with loading single layer synth presets on the KB zone setting for the layers. They've improved the note start times, especially in regards to samples and multiple layers. Sample select memory is now reset when changing programs. For example, after you load a program, the first sample in each category is displayed rather than what was previously selected. They also fixed an issue where arpeggiator keyboard sync, when it was in that section group mode, would only work if layer A was active. And they fixed an issue with the synth glide, where it could become inactive for a layer if a non-pitched sample had been previously loaded. So little things that I never actually came across for these, but nice to know that those are fixed. They also made updates to the unison and round robin rules for samples supporting those features. So some nice little improvements and fixes for the synth sample section. In the menus, we'll take a look at this, but they added overviews to the last pages of the output pedal and MIDI menus. And these overview pages allow for focusing and changing sections. So if we go to the output menu, and then we move over to the last page, so we've got this output overview menu, and then we can hold down on the out to see what outputs those are assigned to. So really cool to have that overview menu there. And then with this overview, we can use the page buttons and then the program dial to scroll between our different selections there. So really nice. We also have this with the pedals. So if we go to the last page, we can see our different pedals. So again, we can use the page buttons to move through those. And then on the sustained triple pedal, these are the 3 pedals here for that pedal. So really cool there. And then the last one was on the MIDI menu. If we jump over to the last page there, we've got the same functionality. We can move through, can change the MIDI channels for the different parts. So lots that we can do here in the overview menu. That's really cool. They've also added an option within the system menu. If we come over to page 5, you can reset all the setting values within the menu back to the default settings. So without doing like a factory reset on the keyboard, we can reset menu settings from here as well. The only settings that aren't going to be reset as a part of this reset here are any of the menu settings like program volume level and some of the user assigned settings that are saved to programs. Those are not reset when you use this reset button. So use it carefully because it's going to reset all the non-program saved menu settings. So just be a little careful with that. But cool if you want to reset your menu settings without resetting the actual keyboard. The other setting that they added was here in the sound menu. If we move up to the organ settings, we've got a little bit of different naming here. Leslie mic distance. So they've changed some of that, but they've added this rotary bass horn level balance. So you can actually change the balance instead of 50-50. You could have more or less rotor and horn level. So nice little improvements to the menu there. I like those changes. Just gives you even more ability to do some of the things that you need to do from the menu. Moving on to the MIDI and extern section, the synth UI is now disabled for the extern layers. So when you turn extern on for one of your layers, it disables a lot of the synth settings, except for the ones that you can use with the extern functionality. Extern display has been updated with larger graphics and improved visualizations of morphs on extern parameters. Unicorda and sostenuto are now sent on extern channels as well. Arpeggiator was not sent on extern when held using the sustain pedal. That's been fixed. And they also fixed an issue with the arpeggiator on extern using KB hold. It was not turned off if the layer was not in extern mode, so they fixed that. Going on to the pedals, automatic changing of pedal settings with incompatible pedals. They've removed that automatic changing. They still notify, however, the pedal just becomes inactive when it's set wrong. Then on the display and the panel. So the program list is now exited when entering live mode, so just a little bit of a change there. The piano list was centered on the wrong items when scrolling. They fixed that. Master clock display can now show hints. Minor changes to the KB split menu. Entering sample category list with 2 or less categories in the list caused a graphical issue. They've fixed that. Pressing down on the delay tempo button now shows dedicated delay tempo subdivision screen. This can also show hints. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Pressing tap button and then quickly turning the program dial can disable program loading until shift was pressed. They fixed that. Some sample categories could be cut off in the synth display. They fixed that. Layer buttons now have hints in simple program view mode. New piano select hints. Monitor button no longer exits the preset view. They've updated the Farfisa drawbar visualizations when setting up morphs. And all LEDs apart from used morph LEDs are now turned off when pressing morph buttons. And finally, the morphed drawbars are now visually displayed as well. So just some various other things here. Rotary speaker morph now goes from slow or stop to fast, depending on the panel setting, whereas previously it always moved between stop and fast. Adding the swap option for morph, copy, and paste, that's a really cool option. Master click keyboard sync off was the same as soft. They fixed that. Did some various other fixes. That's kind of a gray item there. Don't know what that is, but then they changed something in the split. And we're going to take a look at a couple of these that I've breezed over here, but remove the ability to set the split point to off by turning the dial in the split view. Now off is set by the corresponding button. So let's jump up here. Let's take a look at a couple of the things here. If we come into the split view, I wanted to show you this. So turn split on and come over here. Previously, you could scroll all the way to the left and it would turn off that split point. Whereas now to turn it on and off, you just tap on the button corresponding with low, mid, or high to turn it on and off, and then use the scroll or the program select to pick the actual split point location. So just a little change there to make note of. And then it was missing before, but if we come in here and we copy like our wheel, then we could come over, shift, paste, and you have the option to swap instead of just copy the values from, let's say, the wheel to your aftertouch or control pedal. I always copied and pasted those, but having the ability to swap just gives you another option out there. So again, lots of little changes. I think the ones I'm most excited about, the increased polyphony in the synth sample section, as well as that new release technology, which I'm excited to try out with those new string samples. So check out the next video for that. Let me know what you think. Nice little update. They fixed some things. Nothing that was really a showstopper for me. But again, there isn't anything in here that I would say is an issue that's a showstopper for me. So really excited for this update. I hope this was helpful for you guys in getting the keyboard updated, but giving you a little context to some of the changes. And if you have any questions with what I went over in this video, throw those down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired and keep making that music.